Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dare to Dream. I'm your host, Graham Williamson, international intuitive, evidential medium, and psychic. Welcome to GoSoloMedia.com. It's a fantastic group of people, and my show is just a small facet of the whole. And I believe, the only medium in the group, and I love talking about mediumship and psychic work. And tonight's topic is listen to your inner voices. That's really just the tip of an iceberg. The inner voices. We all have our conscious self, subconscious self, and what I call the superconscious self, the part that works everything below the subconscious, the instinctive part, the part that we all have, but everybody knows about the subconscious and the conscious. But you see, your body is vastly more adaptable, more capable than you know. The things it can do are only just being learnt about in the science field, in the medical field, and the spiritual field, and whatever field that you think relates to the human body. They're finding out, hey, we've got two hearts, the soul and the physical. We've got two brains in the heart and the head. We've got voices of our subconscious self and our conscious self. We think with this one, we normally talk what we think, but we also listen to our hearts. And that's always telling us differently, in most cases, to what we think. You see, your heart is one of the biggest, most important aspects of spiritual knowing. Not belief, knowing. I've learned to listen to my heart for a very long time. I'm not perfect. I am the same as everybody. I have got many flaws. But at least I acknowledge them. And I can say, yeah, that was me, or no, it wasn't. And that's it. There's no compromise on it. Because I'm answerable to me and God and my guides and my inner self and those little voices. So I've got a lot of people I answer to. But I always answer to my heart, my spirit, my soul. Because without it, you're lost. If you don't listen to yourself and you just go by your head, your thinking brain, your ego, it gets you into all sorts of trouble. Most times. Well, it did for me. I can only speak for me. As I say, everybody's got their own way of doing things. But think about it. Yeah, think about it. Think how you hear your own words. Think how you respond to those words that you utter. Are they honest? Are they truthful? Are they needed? Are they warranted? Because we all want to give our opinion in some form or another. In a group situation or one-to-one, and you need to discuss things, but you're going to be right, they're going to be wrong. Boy, is that ego. That is ego with a big E-G-O. You see, your inner voices help you understand who you are. They actually guide you to listen to what your guts are telling you. The emotional center of your body are your guts, just below the sternum. That little section there below the sternum where your rib cage comes together. That's my interpretation. And when I tell people, listen to your guts, that's the part I always touch. It works for me. But as I say, each of us are individual. We're not exactly alike in any shape or form, emotionally, even physically. One hand's bigger than the other. One ear's different. You know, everybody's different. Fingerprints different. What's that got to do with voices? You see, when you listen to yourself from your heart, it's like turning a light bulb on. And you think, why didn't I think of that before? Now listen to how I said that. When you listen to your heart, it guides you. And 9 times out of 10, you'll say, why didn't I think of that before? We say words and we don't understand the true meaning of them. Our intention is to sound good. You know, we want to be honest. But you see, do you feel it? Are your guts feeling calm? Or are they churning or tight or, ooh, what happened there? We've all experienced psychic ability in some form or another. The inner voices are those responses from your emotional self, your spiritual self, your heart self, even your ego. Your subconscious sends messages throughout your body. And 9 times out of 10, who actually thinks about moving the left foot to walk, then your right foot, then the left foot, then the right, to walk somewhere? You don't. It's automatic. Those inner voices are automatic. We all have them, but do you listen to them? Not many do. But the more you listen to them, the more you become aware of your inner self. You learn to trust your feelings. Your gut instinct becomes more accurate. Because, believe it or not, the human body is fantastic, but it's limited by this. Yet we've only used a small part of our brains. Doctors have found out on brain scans, we're not using all our brains at all. We're only using about 2, possibly 3 parts of our brain. So if you say that's a whole part, cut into 10. We're only using 3 parts of it. So what's those other 7 parts doing? We know they're not anthropic. They're not dead. They're not doing nothing. They are doing something. But what? Well, you've got to go biology a little bit here. We're made up of electrical impulses. And we've got a north and south in our bodies. That's how our auric field, our energy field, expands out through the skin a good distance from our bodies. People that don't use their abilities positively, their energies are lower. They can be strong, but they're not as open. That's why you know when somebody negative is coming, because we're all tensed up. But with the brain, if we're electrical, we work with on-off switches. It's called binary. And binary is a multiplication facet. So you've got 7 parts you don't know what's doing. Then you meet a like-minded person and their 3 parts and your 3 parts. Get on, great. But also those 7 parts that you don't know about, they're communicating. And when they're communicating, because it's electrical and because it's multiplication, 7 parts times 7 is 49 parts. Interacting, whatever way it does, we don't know. But we know it happens. This is what I've found out over my years of studying. This is my opinion. So then you get a third person coming in. So their 7 comes into your 49 parts. 7 times 49, and you do the math. And it keeps on expanding the more people that you are in tune with. But what's that got to do with voices? Well, the word voices here is to listen, to respond. It's a communication. Your inner voices are working behind the scenes. You don't hear them all the time. I use the term voices to make it simplified for my analogy of what we do as mediums and psychics and as human beings. I've learned to listen to my guts. You've heard me say it many times in the show. But what does it mean to listen to your voices? I went to a fair in Merritt Island recently, and a woman came rushing up to me. I said, "Oh, you're Graham, you're Graham, you're Graham." I said, "Yeah." She says, "I want to thank you immensely." I said, what for? She says, over 2 years ago, you did a phone reading for me. And what you told me, and my husband, who was listening on the phone, changed our lives. We listened to what you told us. Oh, that's great, but I have no clue who you are. I have no clue what I said or did 2 years ago. I have trouble remembering yesterday. I'm getting a little bit older, you know what I mean? But they were so enthusiastic. Then her husband came over as the lady left to go to what she was doing. And he said, "What you told us changed our lives, and we've been listening ever since." Now they've got a business going. It's been going evidently 18 months. Because they're listening to their own energy, their own voices. I felt that big. I thought, what did I do? I just passed on a message. I can't even say I heard the voice that I spoke with. I just know that when I speak, doing readings to a recipient, I've asked for the highest and best for all parties before I even commence doing readings. I've set my parameters. I have my intention practiced, and I say it every single time. Even coming on the show, I had 15 minutes just before talking to Cece. Please, highest and best for all listeners, viewers, and participants. Because you can hear some of what I'm saying and interpret it your own way, which is fine by me. But I can only talk for myself and from what Spirit have guided me to say to you now, because this is never rehearsed. I listen to my inner voices every moment of every day. But at night time, when my wife's home, at the moment she's in England, lucky lady, with her youngest daughter, having a well of a time. But every night I say, this is my time now. Please leave me alone unless it's life or death. Let me have my peace. Because Spirit will work me 24/7 if they could, if I allowed it. You see, I listen to the voices until it's my time to say, no, I need to switch off for a bit now. This is my time. And when I meet people, I instinctively read the voices inside me. And I share what I feel. Well, how did you know about that? I don't know. And I don't. I'd love to say it's a form of telepathy, but it's not. Because telepathy is my intent of using my ability, my brain, my memories, and pass them on to you. That's what I interpret telepathy. But when I'm passing from what Spirit have given me, maybe a type of telepathy that's triggered my memory, and I read it, being active, and I pass on what I'm seeing, hearing, feeling, etc., and smelling, all the senses. But I don't consciously know what I'm doing. Subconsciously, I don't really know what I'm doing. Superconsciously, I may know. And I have to say it that way because I don't understand it. But by doing this, reading people, reading myself, I've been able to help countless people. And see, that example I said earlier about Merritt Island. I don't know what I did, but I'm sure as heck glad I did it. I allowed Spirit to work through me to pass on to this couple, and their lives changed because they listened to what I told them from Spirit, and it resonated with them. They listened to themselves, and they were proactive towards it. And now they're doing a business for 18 months or more. You see, your inner voices are there. They're your yin and yang, positive, negative, good, bad, whatever you want to term it. There is negativity in this world. There has to be positive. You can't have just positive because we're all electrical. We're all made up of particles, everything around us, even the air, everything. You cannot have particles without a positive and a negative. You just can't. And in our science terminology, I know we can't. So you've got to have good and you've got to have bad. But it's how you use them in a positive way. The voices that come through my head are not, hello, Mary, hello, Joe, shall we tell him what to do today? No. It's my own inner self, my memories, the way I talk, the way I think, the way I react to people. My memories are being stirred by whatever stimulates it. And I know when I'm working with spirit and psychic ability, how to respond. If it's just me, ego-wise, working, concentrate on stuff, spirit, leave me alone. And then I get out, oh, I shouldn't do it that way, I should do it this way. Because I listen to those voices inside of me. It's me because it's my voice, my memories. But it's spirit activating those memories, those voices, those incidences. And I've learned to react to them. I've learned to listen to them. It's not difficult. You know, how do you teach a child not to go near fire? How do you teach a dog to sit? Practice. If you do that, it hurts. If you don't do that, you don't get rewarded to the dog and the child. You see, we've all got our voices. And it's not this one. It's the ones in there. The ones in your guts. The ones in your heart. Listen to them. Life's so simple. People screw it up because they don't listen to themselves. They'd rather rely on somebody else's opinion, on somebody's word, somebody's statement, to live their own life and then find out it all went wrong. And what do? It's your fault. Excuse me? You reacted the way you did because you thought it was the best thing to do. But you didn't listen to your gut instinct, your little voices, those inner voices. You just listened to that person and said, well, he's successful, I'll do it that way. That's his way or her way. Listen to your heart. Listen to your guts. They tell you every time the right way for you to learn from. Yes, sometimes it will fail. Yes, sometimes it will succeed. But you learn by committing yourself to the journey of life, to learn on your route. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be on this earth. I hope it's for a very long time, but I know I'm going to die one day. But in the process, my journey is more important than the destination. Because I'm living my life now. Because I listen to those inner voices. How do you think I got onto going solo media? I bumped into a certain lady, Cece. We got talking. And one of my friends said, oh, he's got a show on there. And then somehow I ended up here. And I think I've been doing it for over a year now. Cece will tell me how long I've been doing it. But you see, I listened to my guts and I found a kindred spirit in my friend Cece and some of the other hosts. I don't know all the people because our fields are different. But we've got one main attribute for each of us. We want to help other people have a better life, a safer life, a rewarding life. And that's what going solo media is about. It's not about being individual, standing on your own, totally alone. No. It's about standing up and being accountable to yourself for other people. That's my interpretation of what going solo media is about. Communication. I do it my way. My friends do it their way. We respect each other's viewpoint. We may not agree, but that's the beauty of it. We don't have to. We have to be respectful. Because the more respect you give other people, yes, you do get it back as well. Maybe. Because I don't look for an answer of, oh, I like your show because you like my show. No, that's not what it's about. I know when somebody's given me a lot of rubbish and lying, but I have to smile and say, okay, no problem. And this time I'm listening to that voice going, he's talking a load of rubbish, or she is. That's not going to work that way because it's not your way, Graham. We all get those little voices. But you see, listening to your inner voice is not difficult. You've been doing it most of your life. You're just not aware of what you're doing. And that's why I've given you so many different views and aspects of situations. And if you hear another voice, take it as a blessing. In fact, you can hear somebody else's voice. And it's not, I was talking to my wife earlier and I can hear her voice. That's not what I'm on about. It's when you're doing something totally unrelated and suddenly you hear a voice of somebody you've not even thought about for a long time or seen. And you just hear the voice say, hey, Graham, what are you doing? Oh, where you been? And there's nobody there. But I distinctly heard them saying, hey, Graham, how have you been? No, there's a reason why I got that memory stirred. Well, to me, it's a memory. Until I find out, oh, I was just thinking about you because I found that person I was hearing voices from. Oh, I was just thinking about you yesterday. So how did I get that connection? Because I listened and I reacted. I've learned to listen to what those voices are telling me. If I think about my wife some different way to normal, I'll phone her up if she's not with me. Are you okay? Yeah, fine. Everything? Yep. Okay. Leave her alone. She knows me. She knows I'm not overreacting. But I've always listened to those voices. My stepdaughters, my son, my daughter in England. I listen. Because listening is easy. But what are you going to do when you've heard your inner voice? Are you just going to ignore it? Or are you going to start listening closer and deeper? It's like getting the wax out of your ear. I know it sounds gross, but getting the wax out of your ear helps you hear more clearly. And believe it or not, talking helps your ears stay clear. Because the muscles affect your ears. And anybody who's got trouble with producing wax knows totally what I'm on about. Yep, I'm one of them. But I have tear ducts are very active. That's why I can't go outside in the bright sunlight. I have to wear sunglasses before I leave the house. Or my eyes just go bing and water away, which affects my sinuses, which affects my ears. And I always have wax issues. But wearing the sunglasses helps reduce it. How did I learn that out? Gibraltar, 1972. Been below decks in the Royal Navy, 3 months. Only time I came up was nighttime. Mediterranean, fantastic. We get into Gibraltar, there's a dress ship, which is pure white, uniform hat and everything. I come out through the door onto the upper deck, midday, glare. My eyes puffed out like somebody boxed. I couldn't see for 3 days. My eyes were weakened by fluorescent light bulbs. And ever since then, I've always had to wear sunglasses before I leave the building. And living in Florida, it's very bright. But what's that got to do with hearing, well, listening to your inner voice? I said to one of my friends before I came up a deck, I hope it's not too bright. I haven't been out up a deck for a while. Are we allowed sunglasses? No. Not unless they're medically prescribed. I listened. I couldn't do anything about it. I went out. Boom. I wish people would be allowed to listen, voice what those inner voices are telling them, rationally to other people. Because the more rational you are, the more you're going to be heard. And when you listen to your guts and you listen to your heart, it's amazing how easy things come out of your mouth. As I said, I don't rehearse what I'm telling you, but I'm showing you so many different ways of what listening to your inner voices can do. It can help your physical well-being, your mental well-being, and your heart well-being. Doctors are learning about health more and more each day. We're becoming more like Star Trek, and with those special reading scanners and stuff like that, and flip phones. That was flip phones in Star Trek before they became, I think, the manufacturers in Japan and China saw, oh, that's a good idea, let's make phones like that. They listened and made a vast profit. Can you remember how big computers used to be and how much memory they didn't have? Now we've got more memory in a single cell phone than the biggest computer when it first came out. People have been listening to their guts, in part, since man's been on this earth. That's how the psychic ability, my belief, came into being, because they listened to their instinct from their guts, the physical, the psychic ability. That's how caveman managed to survive, because they didn't have the common sense the way we understand it today. But when I see mankind at the moment, I don't think there's a lot of common sense around. It's a dog-eat-dog situation. No offense to the dogs. But that's human nature. That's individuals. Collectively, we are all one race, the human race. We all have abilities, and every person's abilities are different to some degree or another. As I said earlier, one hand's bigger than the other, the ears are different, the nose, whatever. But we all have a conscious, subconscious, and superconscious self. And the more you listen to those funny feelings in your guts, listen to that, what's stimulated by those reactions in your central gut area. What memories are stirred into action? What feelings, what smell, what sights, what tastes? All these are affected by this energy that affects our solar plexus. And talking about solar plexus, that's where your stomach is. And I've just had tea, so I'm going to take a break for a minute. I'm going to have a drink of water. And I hope you come back, and I'll see you shortly. Thanks, Cece.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
Sorry, normally comes up with you're live again. Thanks, Cece. Sorry about that. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host of Dare to Dream, Graham Williamson, international intuitive evidential medium and psychic. And I hope what I've been telling you, you may want to contact me. And please email me at amedium77@gmail.com. Send me a text or phone me on 352-409-1060. I live in Florida, USA. Leave a voice message, because if you don't, I will not respond to it. We all know what these calls are all about. And we all get them. And the topic today is listen to your inner voices. I've done so many of these shows now, and CC can attest to this. I have never known what I'm going to talk about until maybe 2 days before. Very rarely I can give her a week's notice. And sometimes in then it changes. Because I have always listened to this gut feeling. I ask for guidance. I ask for help. I ask for support. And spirits never, ever let me down. I may have let them down by thinking things out, and I don't really know what the heck I'm thinking about. So because I've been doing this for so long, I quit trying to think what I know. I do know a lot of stuff, and I've got a lot of memories, but spirit have always helped me use those memories constructively. And I'm hoping what I'm telling you today in the show on Going Solo Media, that you can learn about your own abilities. Please listen to yourself, especially if you feel alone or stressed or abused or frustrated, whatever. But also when you're happy and healthy. Listen to what you feel. Listen to those voices inside your heart. You know what I mean, instinctively. But when you self-analyze, that's the ego stepping in. And that's not a bad thing, but be careful with it. Some people have a very good ego and it works in balance with their hearts. I can safely say my wife would not be my wife if I didn't listen to her and myself equally, with no barrier. 22 years of marriage, and I wasn't going to get married ever again. But something told me this lady I met in June of 2001 was worth talking to. I came December 2001, and I've been here ever since. Because I told my family in England, I'm going to America to meet this lady, and I won't be coming back. Oh, you will. Oh, you will. You'll be back. You'll be back. I went back twice. One time to introduce my wife and stepdaughters to my family. Another to say goodbye to my father. I couldn't say goodbye to my mother because I was going through an immigration stuff. And my mother actually said, don't come to my funeral. Have the life. Dare to dream. And you can see that picture there. Dare to dream. The last gift my mother gave me physically. And that's why I call the show Dare to Dream. She says, you listen to your voice and your voices. If you listen to them for the rest of your life, you will always have a journey that you can actually say, I did my best. Or, I didn't do my best. Because sometimes the ego steps forward and you screw it up. And even so, as I said, I'm not perfect. But these shows are about helping you be the best you are, or the best you can be. But you've got to listen to yourself first. And if ever you need any help, you can come to Going Solo Media. You can email me. As I say, if you come to my email, amedium77@gmail.com, send me a text. I will answer it. as best I can with my guides, my voices. Or you can phone me on 352-409-1060. It's Florida, USA. Leave a voice message. I can do readings on Messenger, on the phone, in text, or personal, one-to-one. I can do group readings. I can do whatever is required by you and what's the word I'm looking for? And the availability of time for you. I'm willing to work with people. I'm a retired Royal Navy person. I did 14 and a half years. I've seen stuff. I've had to do stuff I'm not proud of, but it was duty. I've helped people with PTSD. I've helped people who have been haunted. I've helped people who are manic. I was very fortunate. My parents worked with the mentally and physically challenged people, and as children, we all were allowed on the wards in safe areas. And I learned to converse with people that were supposed to be crazy. I learned to communicate with these people that had not socially acceptable mentalities, physicalities, infirmities, disabilities. We all know the old terminology, but my folks helped change the terminology to mentally and physically challenged and impaired people. And they taught me about my gifts. I met autistic people that have been on medicine most of their lives because they're bipolar and schizophrenic and all the rest of it. I learned to feel their energy. I learned to listen to their voices and their actions and their eyes and the way they spoke, posture. I had a veteran last year in a local place I went to, and he'd carried this Vietnam veteran, and he always thought that he was a murderer. He did unspeakable things, he said. And he told me of one incident of people being killed by a group of baddies, Vietnamese. And his squad went out, found them, and shot them. And he thought it was murder. And he's carried that since the Vietnam War. And my guts and my feelings, my inner voices said, hang on a minute. I said, wait, I won't say his name. You know, you heard about this group of people going around killing men, women, and children, dogs, cats, whatever. Yeah? How many people did they kill? We said, well, a lot. And you went after them and you stopped them. You killed them, your squad. Yeah? Yeah. She said, it was terrible. I said, well, let's get it right. You were in war. Now, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but the justice of it was they stopped those people killing more people. If they hadn't done, there'd have been more atrocities. I said, so stop wearing that hat that says Vietnam veteran as a negative. Why don't you just get the hat that says veteran Marine? He went home. It took him a couple of weeks. And then one day his wife came into the place where I was talking to him. And she gave me a kiss on the cheek. I said, thank you, I've got my husband back. He went home one day, took his hat off, put it on a peg, left it, and now wears his Marine veteran hat. That trauma has left him. He became whole again, or more whole than he was. Just by listening to those voices, I heard and felt and saw my memories of what I'd been through. I'm not a combat veteran. No, I went to Northern Ireland, I got shot up, my mate lost his leg. That was the closest to combat I have. I had to shoot somebody to stop him shooting my friends, and had loads of Semtex on the boat. I boarded a vessel in Mediterranean, and my gut said, tell everybody to wait here. One of the guys come with me. Went down below deck. There was supposed to be a fire on this vessel in the Mediterranean. We got on it. And I said, lift that plate up in the engine room. We saw the big barrels of fuel, the big ones, I don't know how many gallons, 45 or 50 gallons, whatever they are. And get the hell off the ship. And we were running out. I said, found the ship, found the ship. We got on there, jumped on the boat. We got a quarter of a mile out. That thing blew. Because I listened to that voice that said there's something wrong. That inner voice that I've always acknowledged by practice. Think about it. You could save not only your own life, but somebody else's. It's a possibility. But think about living a life to the best of your abilities. I don't know what my abilities are. I find new facets to my abilities. 68 years. I've been doing this 65 years, listening to spirit. You can do the same your way, whether it be spirit or psychic, either or both ways. Whatever you choose is right by me. But do it your way. I'm just giving you a guideline of listening to your inner voices, or listen to your inner voice. And this is what my show's about, showing different facets of being a spiritual medium and a psychic. Everybody's a psychic, but not everybody's a medium. And that's my opinion. I've learnt it through experience. I always carry this when I do my shows. That's my mum's animal, the elephant. That's her picture there. Dare to Dream. I've got my family behind me. I've got all these people behind me. Because I can't be here without them. We can't be here but for our ancestors. Their voices that you can't hear physically, but you can feel them. You can hear them spiritually. You can hear them activating your memories, your loved ones. So listen to those inner voices, because it will make you a better person. And I'm not on about the psychotic, deranged, I've got to use the word lunatics. If your ambition is to hurt, maim, and kill people, I'm sorry, I feel bad for you. I do. But if your intention is to help, heal, calm, love, succor, comfort, empathy, compassion, you're my kind of people. And everybody in Going Solo Media have their own facet of that ability, the positive side. They listened to their inner voices and they came and joined Cece to do their shows. So please come to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network and Radio, TV and podcasts, and have a blast. Sort the show that you feel positive with. We're on bi-weekly. My next show, if I remember rightly, should be the 10th of May at 6 o'clock till 6:45. I hope you'll join me, and I hope you'll come in and make comments, and I'd love to interact with you. But please, you can look me up on Facebook, look for Graham Williamson, you know my face, or a medium 77 on Facebook as well. Yeah, they are May 10th, 6 p.m. EST. But email me on amedium77@gmail.com. I'll help you as best I can. Or phone me on 352-409-1060. I live in Florida, USA. Leave a voice message, please, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And that's about the end of the show today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like, and as I say, I'm your host of Dare to Dream, Graham Williamson, International Intuitive, Evidential Medium, and Psychic. And I hope you have a wonderful time. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. God bless to you. And love you. Thank you.